What's going on, guys? This is Elijah here for Football Recaps, and today I am back with another video, but we are going to be talking about college football, and the prediction videos are back in action. As you guys know, that this week it starts less than 100 days till the 2022 of college football season, and man, oh man, I am ready for October 8th of 2022. Alabama versus the Texas A&M Aggies, and boy, it's going to be probably the most anticipated, the most hyped, the most watched game, I guess, in a long time for college football, because as you guys know, just a few days ago, or I guess last week, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, but anyways, last week or so, Nick Saban had a press conference with, I guess, his boosters, and he was talking about the future of college football. He was talking about the NIL deal and all this other stuff, how teams can now use name, image, and likeness to pay basically recruits. And so, as you guys know, that Texas A&M finally had the number one recruiting class, like probably in a while, the first time ever, in my opinion. I don't even know like when they had the number one recruiting class. As you guys know, that Alabama basically gets either one or two behind like Georgia or Ohio State or maybe Oregon sometimes. Not really at all. But all of a sudden, Texas A&M out of nowhere basically gets like the number 1, 2, and 3 players who are 5-star recruits, and then boom, their number one recruiting class. And a lot of people were skeptical. A lot of people were like, "Whoa, this doesn't happen much often." And of course, Nick Saban at his press conference basically calls out Jimbo Fisher, and then it was the just craziness of a press conference between Jimbo Fisher the day after. And of course, he also called out Deion Sanders for getting Travis Hunter, the DB, who's a 5-star, to go to Jackson State, which is an FCS school or HBCU school. And then people were saying that he had NIL stuff, and of course, Deion denies it. Which I mean, if you are a DB, I probably would have gone to play under Deion Sanders, who's probably the best player of all times. So that is just my opinion. This game is going to be the most anticipated game because you guys have known that Jimbo Fisher literally was just going off against Nick Saban, basically calling Nick Saban out, saying that like he didn't cheat, he used the rules, he did the right way. And of course, he called out Nick Saban. He said that he knows the true Nick Saban. He can basically expose Nick Saban for basically cheating, which, I mean, let's be honest here. Every school in America uses under-the-rug money from boosters all the time. I mean, look at SMU. They literally do the same thing, but they're openly admitted that they literally bought players, and it's just crazy. So anyways, it's going to be like, I guess, less than hopefully a 10-minute video. So I basically wrote down, or I guess typed my matchups, and then we can go through the scores as well. So Texas A&M, of course, like I said, Nick Saban lost in the national championship to Georgia. They went 13-2, 7-1 conference, and they won the SEC championship, and that's how they were in the conference, in the national championship. And of course, the only losses they had was against Georgia and of course Texas A&M, and which I just mentioned, the Jimbo Fisher NIL comments I just said earlier, and of course Jimbo Fisher 8-4, 4-4. Biggest win, of course, is the Alabama versus at Texas A&M, so it's going to be at Alabama of this upcoming season. And of course, Zach Calzada literally was a third-string quarterback and beat Alabama his I guess first big-time win ever. And then he, of course, transfers out of Texas A&M, which is kind of strange. I guess Texas A&M got they got the dude from LSU, Max Johnson. So either Max Johnson or Haynes King will either start for Texas A&M. Of course, Bryce Young, dominant as always, almost had 5,000 passing yards, 47 touchdowns. I believe he won the. Did he win the Heisman Trophy? I think he did. He had a QBR rating of 87.6. No, wait, Devontae Smith did from Alabama. Never mind. I was wrong. My bad. And of course, like I said, who knows between the starters for Max Johnson or Haynes King for Texas A&M. So let me know what you guys think. If you're an Aggies fan, who is going to be the starting quarterback for this year's matchup? So the running back matchup, as you guys know, Brian Robinson has been drafted by the Washington Commanders. And, of course, Jahmyr Gibbs, who was a former Georgia Tech running back, decent running back as well, and now he will most likely be the starting running back for the Alabama Crimson Tide. He had about 4 touchdowns, 746 rushing yards, averaged about 5.2 per carry, so honestly not bad. And of course, Texas A&M has an interesting. I think they lost like a lot of guys last year. Isaiah Spindler was one of their best running backs. I remember watching him play when UNC played them in the Orange Bowl 2 years ago. So Devin Akane, I can't pronounce the last name, so if I butcher it, I'm sorry. He had over 910 yards, 9 touchdowns, and averaged about 7 yards per carry, so he's going to probably be the number one go-to guy for Jimbo Fisher's offense. So he's going to be pretty good of this year. The wide receivers, that is going to be interesting because Jameson Williamson and then John Mechie, and then they just literally lost, Devontae Smith. Yeah, he got drafted too. I don't know why I didn't have Devontae Smith in there either. No, wait, that was last year's. I'm thinking of last year's stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. Devontae Smith popped up in my head because he played in the NFL this year with the Eagles. I'm sorry. So that was dumb. And then, Jameson Williamson, he got hurt, but he was really good. John Mechie was really good as well. They're both on NFL. And, of course, this one was kind of crazy because Jermaine Burton literally played with Georgia, and he won with Georgia with Stetson Bennett, which is kind of odd. And then he transfers to Alabama, the team he beat in the national championship, but then lost in the SEC championship, which that does not make any sense. I've never seen that happen before, where a player goes to the school, basically the rival school, and then he beats the rival school, but then he goes to the rival school, I guess, for playing time, and of course to get in the NFL, which is kind of crazy. He had about 497 yards, 5 touchdowns, and he averaged about 19 yards per catch, which is kind of crazy. And of course, Caleb Chapman transferred to Oregon for the Aggies, and of course, the number one guy is going to be probably Ainias Smith, who had 500 yards, 6 touchdowns, averaged about 10 yards per carry. He actually did really well against Alabama last year. He had, he had 2 touchdowns with 85 yards. I mean, that was pretty good. Yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit. That was pretty good for last year. And of course, as you guys know, they won 41-38, and Alabama came back and almost won too. And then of course, these are your top defensive players. They're not in order, and I don't know if this is like the exact the players that are going to be starting and playing for Alabama, because defense is kind of hard compared to offense. So Henry Tuo, if I pronounced that last name wrong, I'm sorry. He is a leading linebacker, 52 tackles, also transferred from Tennessee. And you got defensive tackle DJ Dale, 12 tackles, Byron Young, 19 tackles. So I don't really know who will all be the leading top guys for defenses, and like a lot of people left for the NFL draft. Texas A&M, Jalen Jones will definitely be their number one go-to guy for DB. He had 2 interceptions, 23 tackles. Andre White, 27 tackles. McKinley Jackson, and 7 tackles. So that's just, I don't really know all who will be the top guys for defense next year. All right, these are the team rankings per ESPN. 88th in passing for Texas A&M, 44th in rushing, 128th in scoring offense, and then 3rd for defense, points against. And of course, this is all of last year. Alabama, 7th in passing yards, 76th in rushing yards, which that is kind of weird in my opinion. 29th in scoring offense, that's crazy. 20 points, 20th points against on defense. And so there you have it. It's kind of a longer video. And of course, that is all I have for this. And my prediction will probably most likely be Alabama, because it's at Bryant-Denny Stadium. And I think that Alabama is going to win by 17 points against Texas A&M, because I think that you should never bet against Alabama. You should never bet against Nick Saban. As much as it pains me, I still think that Alabama is going to win because it's at home. And of course, it's tough to beat teams at Alabama. And I think that Texas A&M is going to be very young this year, and so I don't really know how Max Johnson is going to do against Alabama. So there you have it. I have Alabama by 17 points against Texas A&M. If you're an Aggies fan and you feel like that Texas A&M can beat Alabama, let me know. And of course, if you're an Alabama fan, comment below what your score is, and it is what it is. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. It was a long one, and more prediction videos on the way. And if I had something wrong in this like wrote up sheet, let me know. And see you guys later. And peace out.